of entertainment news here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen, and our other co-host, John.
Otherwise known as, what is it called, the Shakespearean play with the skull? To be or not to be?
Yeah,
That's a question.
Yeah. Macbeth.
It's not Macbeth, no, it's the other one.
Hamlet.
Hamlet,
yeah.
To be or not to be. Yeah. I'm going to donate my skull to the sort of Royal Theatre so that someone many years from now, touch wood, it's not wood, I'm not super, I'm superstitious, but say supernatural. Like David Tennant.
Some might say. Yeah, David Tennant.
40, 50 years in the future I can use in my head. In a Shakespearean play.
As long as they don't do that thing they did in Doctor Who with your face and stretch it out.
Yeah, it's
Cassandra,
no good.
was it called? I can't remember.
It's no good to me when I'm dead, is it? So
moisturise.
Might as well go to use. Yeah, exactly.
We're here to talk about entertainment news, folks, and we're here to talk about, we're going to be talking about obviously Sony and possibilities of rebooting the Spider-Man universe. After obviously we did do a Craven the Hunter trailer reaction.
That didn't go out.
Unfortunately, some technical difficulties. And then we're going to be talking about Todd Phillips, who's praising Deadpool and Wolverine on its record-breaking success. And then we're going to talk about some box office news. Not box office chat like back in the day, but we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus.
Box office chat.
Sponsored by Deadpool. And then we're going to be talking about some Indian news as well.
Box office deep bath.
The Indian Film Festival of Melbourne 2024. But that's all coming up later on in the show, folks. Firstly, we are going to be talking about Sony rebooting. Is Sony rebooting Spider-Man, their Spider-Man universe? Yeah, wow.
Holy fuck.
Look,
I'm concerned that
we're not moving.
Let's just get back to that. That was a little bit strange. OBS is really starting to fucking grind my gears. I have to tell you, I'm convinced it's them.
Yeah,
that I blame for the audio gremlins we've been having.
Do you know something? I think they've took the hump since we used that other
the StreamYard
once.
Yeah,
well, we used it once and they've taken the hump. But
look how far down the camera goes.
Yeah, wow, look at that. I look massive, John, when you sat way back. But we're here.
I've zoomed you out, Steve.
Yeah, I like sitting close, so I do like sitting close.
Fucking hell, look at the size of you, man, that's crazy.
It's not as bad as the old days when it was just our faces, you saw. Didn't even see the shoulders, but there you go, folks. In high definition. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity to see John close up. But yeah, with the release,
you used to see it all the time, every week.
Warts and all. With the release of, you see the crumbs from your scone on his side of your face.
It was so close. It was needless. I don't know what I was thinking. Those were the days. Indeed. But I'm going to check this stream because I'm getting fear.
Yeah, please do. I wouldn't mind if we restarted, to be honest. Just went, whoa, okay. Talking about scones. With the release of Craven the Hunter in December, rumours are swirling that Sony might be rebooting their Spider-Man universe once more. Sony's Spider-Man universe, crafted as an answer to the MCU's, leverages the iconic Spider-Man IP as we know, which Sony secured distribution rights for back in 1999. This deal led to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy, Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man films, and the current shared universe, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. However, benefits from a collaborative agreement between Sony and Marvel, allowing him to be part of the MCU and switching over as well, obviously, with the upcoming Craven the Hunter. And we've obviously got the Venom.
Yes, in
films
Morbius.
In Morbius, which we don't really
Madam
talk
Web.
about. But we kind of talked about this, John, on Friday when we were doing the pre-recording of the trailer reaction.
Slow-mo.
And we talked about the possibility of bringing a version of Spider-Man into that universe. It is his universe, but he's not appeared yet. But what's your thoughts, John? Do you think there is a possibility of Sony doing this, a reboot of their own Spider-Man universe again?
Well, I mean, Stephen, we've not got Spider-Man. So is it technically a reboot or is it just a reigniting of a different kind of Spider-Man? If you're talking about a reboot of all the villainous turns we've seen, then I'm not for that. I quite like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. And obviously the symbiote, the relationship he has with Venom. It's got that touch of comedic stuff going on. It's got great action. It's got a really human story with Eddie. So I quite like the way they've developed that character. You can argue whether the second movie is good enough. You can argue whether they require the third movie. But they've made a trilogy now. Hopefully it sticks a landing. And then we can potentially have him popping up in a Spider-Man ensemble kind of villainous. I don't know how they would work it. He's got to be a villain if he faces off against Spider-Man, but perhaps we can bring him into a Spider-Man movie in the near to medium future.
Is Tom Holland your preference?
Yeah, I mean, just purely because he's played the character in 3 movies now, and I think he's done a great job. He's appeared in the MCU, so he's kind of established as Eddie Brock. So, I mean, I don't know if I would be for rebooting, a hard reboot, getting rid of all, I mean, maybe for the others, because Morbius was a shit show. Madam Web, I've not seen yet.
No, I've not seen that yet.
But by all accounts, not great. And in actual fact, I was watching another film a couple of nights back with the leading actress, Dakota Johnson or something. And I actually had to double take on her because I'm like, I know her from somewhere.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of films. I'm being harsh on her. She's not exactly your man that was criticising Scarlett Johansson. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Stephen Dorff.
Dorff, yeah.
She's not that level of anonymity. She has done some things in her career. For whatever reason, I've not seen that movie yet. So perhaps there's an argument that it's been a little bit underwhelming outside of Venom. And you could maybe do a reboot starting with Craven.
Yeah.
If that's a very good film. And re-kickstart this villainous universe. But I don't know if I would be for rebooting all the villains. I mean, I think they've done a reasonable job with Venom. Just forget the forgetful ones. Yeah. Bring in and build upon Venom and Craven. Bring in a Spider-Man. It doesn't have to be Peter Parker. It could be Miles Morales. It could be Gwen Stacy. It could be anything. Spider-Gwen, whatever you call her. You can utilise multiple Spider-Man men characters like into the Spider-Verse. And
Phil,
Phil Spider-Man. And just have them face off against a myriad of villains. There's a lot of potential that they've not yet explored in this universe. And I think with Craven, you've got a real big bad villain there.
I'm not really sure now, but I think sort of peak MCU, I think Sony would have liked the likes of Venom, their version of Venom with Tom Hardy, etc. That whole cast of villains to bleed over to the MCU at some point. I don't think they're there now. I don't think they're hungry for that anymore. And I think just by, I mean, it's a trailer at the end of it. It's going to show you the best bits, but it looks like they've done well with Craven. I think in terms of tone and obviously story as well, how it's sort of structured, and obviously the casting's fantastic. Obviously Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing the lead, but that's another thing as well about the tone of the Venom, the Morbius, and obviously Craven now. I don't know. I don't know, but I can't see Tom Holland's Spider-Man fitting into that sort of tone. No, I don't know why. I'm not saying he can't do it. I just don't think. I think it would be quite jarring to see him up his game to. I don't know what these films are rated, to be honest with you. I don't know if they're getting.
I think it's just PG-13, the same as the MCU. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
They are a lot sort of darker, you know. But perhaps maybe that's what Tom Holland Spider-Man needs. We saw at the end of obviously. What was that film called again?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
No Way Home, yeah.
He popped up.
You know, he had to step up at the end. He had to become Spider-Man, not what we'd seen in the previous 2 films, and we saw that. So it could work. It could be the growth. It could be the thing that accelerates Tom Holland's version of it. But I'm not adverse to seeing a version of Miles Morales. We've only seen him in obviously animated form at the moment, but
David Hunters are. So I was going to say that, Stephen, with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Technically, he's not signed a new deal with Marvel, Disney yet. So we don't actually know if he has got the appetite to come back and portray Peter Parker moving forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's possible that he could maybe jump over to Sony. Sony may take full creative control of his character and he pops in. I personally wouldn't want to see that. I think that'd be jarring. We've spent so much time with that iteration of the character in the MCU. That's his home now.
Yeah.
He belongs with the likes of Stephen Strange and Ford and the guys that are still left over in that universe. I don't want to see that version jumping over to the Sony verse. If anything, I'd see that as maybe a potential hunting ground for a Tobey Maguire return or an Andrew Garfield return, and you bring them in and make them work in that universe. Not together, obviously. One of them would do it But I'm more for a Miles Morales live action film,
Yeah.
just because I think that character's so distinct and different to Peter Parker. His upbringing, his backstory, just the vibes he brings. Not just that, it gives an opportunity to a young black actor to go in and play Spider-Man. And we spoke long and hard, Stephen, back in the day about the power of Black Panther and what Chadwick Boseman, the late great, did for the black community. And young actors looking at him, or young people aspiring to be maybe an actor, thinking, I can't do it because I don't see anyone like me on the screen doing that kind of role. I'm not saying there's not anyone did that. We've got Denzel, we've got fucking Sidney Poitier back in the day.
Yeah. But for
But
the genre,
it's such an important moment, having a nigh on all black cast in Black Panther, and the lead guy being a charismatic, brilliant actor like Chadwick Boseman. That done wonders, I'm sure, and you'll see the fruits of that in years to come for young people coming up. To have a Black Spider-Man in live action, I love the character. I'd love to see it happen. That's my preference.
Yeah, that's my preference.
If that means you have to reboot this fucking villain universe to do something with
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
they really do. I mean, we've seen it in MCU. Obviously, Iron Man 2 flopped. We've seen Thor's Dark World flop, but they reinvent it. They reinvent the character with the same actor for a better story, a better director, perhaps. Maybe some might say. And they can do it with this as well, because I think the casting has been fine. It's just some of the writing's just been a little bit off. Tom Hardy's done a good job, I think, of Venom over the piece. The first film was really good. The third one looks really good. Second one took a dip, but that sometimes happens in the middle sort of a trilogy. Morbius, just not the greatest character, to be honest with you, and it's nothing to do with Jared Leto. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. He just hasn't had that good. That much luck with obviously superhero villains or super villains. In terms of something you said, John, about Tom Holland, Spider-Man having the connections with the likes of Stephen Strange, etc., it was one of the things I thought was quite interesting at the end of No Way Home was that they decided to disconnect Peter Parker / Spider-Man from everyone in the MCU at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was something Sony asked for or if it was just part of the narrative going forward. They can start afresh and it's going to be a Spider-Man we're going to see going forward with Tom Holland.
I would hate that. I wouldn't like that. Because we've spent 3 movies with this guy in the MCU, and it was one of my criticisms. I love Tom Holland as an actor. Brilliant guy as well off the camera, really charismatic. I think they call him the Riz Master or something like that. Got a lot of Riz. Cool guy. And we've spent so much time with him. Woo! Wow. That was my Batman poster falling. Maybe that's a sign that we should stop talking about the Sony Spider-Verse and start talking about the DCU.
We'll come to that,
we'll get there. But for now, we're still talking about the Spider-Verse. We spent so much time with the character. If I can get my train of thought back. Thank you for that. Fuck. My one criticism was lingering on the school aspect for too long. He was a young guy, really immature. Training wheels on, literally, in the first movie. Tony Stark having to father him and be a mentor and just mollycoddle him. And then he's got Tony Stark's suit. It was one of my technology. It was one of my big criticisms that he didn't grow up quick enough. Now we've finally matured him and he's stepping out on his own 2 feet. He's going to jump over into another fucking universe. That wouldn't be...
in terms of business as well, John, in the real world... I think Marvel would be pretty pissed off as well that they've took this character, developed him. I know it's obviously Sony's character, but they've took him and took him through that sort of journey through his sort of teenage years, and then they're going to get the best of him by bringing him over to their studios. I don't know. I don't really agree with that. But I'm with you, John. I think Miles Morales would be good, and that's not to say I wouldn't like to see Andrew Garfield back and Tobey Maguire in some form and something else. But I don't know if maybe it's just they've had their time. I don't know.
We say, Stephen, bring them over, but when you actually think about it, we're maybe doing a disservice to Sony, because even though Kevin Feige's probably got control creatively, overseeing it, it's still ultimately Sony that's producing those Spider-Man movies. It's not actually Disney. They are obviously collaborative, but I'm pretty sure it's Sony, and they get quite a big share of the profits from box office. So... I still maintain Sony have created the best Spider-Man movies, so it may not be the worst thing if he jumps over.
Certainly Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire ones, are some of the best comic book films.
Into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse. Really love them. I'm really looking forward to the bookend of that particular story.
I
With
didn't mind the first Amazing Spider-Man. That was okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And I love Andrew Garfield. I think he's a great Peter Parker. I really do.
I think he's the best suit.
Yeah.
I like that suit. I like the shade of blue.
Yeah.
I don't
Although
know why.
Tom's suit at the very end of No Way Home is pretty good, the kind of lighter
That
blue.
was more. That's another thing that went
Yeah.
with the fucking Spider-Man suits, gold and stuff.
I don't like that. The iron
What are you
sort of
doing?
spider. Yeah.
Let's get on
Yeah.
here.
I don't
Doesn't
like
need
that.
that. He's a
sort of
God-given-
nanotechnology
He's
kind of
got
thing.
God-given ability.
Yeah.
He does not need any technology from a billionaire.
Yeah.
He doesn't need
Who
it.
does need
he
it?
has the ability.
Yeah.
They neutered Spider-Man in the
Yeah, they're
MCU.
good at doing that.
I wish
Yeah.
they'd stop doing it. He's one of the most powerful characters. Let the guy cook, as they like to say. But no, Stephen, look, I wouldn't be adverse to a minor reboot to facilitate a Spider-Man coming in. Ultimately, it's Sony that have got creative control over this side of things.
Yeah.
And if they envisage using a Spider-Man moving forward and obviously introducing them to these villains, then so be it. Just as long as it's not Tom Holland for me.
Yeah, it does beg a question about what was the point of the end screen credits from No Way Home in sort of bigger picture. But
They're just throwing him a bone, weren't
yeah,
they?
I think so.
With the
yeah.
whole variant stuff and multiple verses.
Yeah.
Could just throw him in there and if it worked and
Throw the dog a bone.
they could bring him in. But ultimately, I don't think there's any appetite from Disney to do anything with the Sony characters. They've got their own thing going on.
Yeah.
And with obviously Doctor Doom now coming in. With the bold Tony, not Tony, I was about to call Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark. Well, he is, really.
Yeah.
They don't really need Kraven the Hunter and people like that. You're not going to bring Kraven the Hunter into a standalone Spider-Man movie as a throwaway villain. They can't do justice to that kind of...
No.
That character's a Thanos level character
It's funny.
for Spider-Man.
It's funny a couple of years ago when obviously before No Way Home came out, the sort of things we were talking about at the time, the Sinister Six, bringing obviously Michael Keaton back into it, which I would have loved to have saw. I would have loved to have saw him participate in No Way Home, to be fair. One of the greatest villains, I think.
That's one of the few
film.
drop balls I've seen from Kevin Feige. I still don't understand what that end credit scene was with him and I think Scorpio or some character like that. They were talking in the prison. Never followed that up.
It's a strange
Baffling.
one, yeah.
He was a brilliant character. I love Vulture.
It was so intense, yeah.
Unbelievable. The moment he goes in to also pick her up for the prom and he's there, just horror.
Yeah.
You could feel the tension and it's all on Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
That's why I maintain he made the best Batman,
Tom
not
Holland
Bruce Wayne.
played his part in that scene as well. I mean,
It's
he
just
looked terrified.
Stephen, you can't quite. I mean, honestly, I can't comprehend he can play. Blank on the name, fucking Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And then can play that character.
Yeah.
That's the same actor. They're worlds apart.
It's phenomenal.
That shows you the range of him.
It's funny, John, because people don't really talk about that as much when it comes to Michael Keaton. They see him as a comedic actor, and occasionally intense, but he's got some range. He has, it's not just obviously those goofy sort of 80s films that he did. No. He's done some great work. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean,
still my Bruce Wayne.
I would I would still like to see Sony doing something with the Spider-Man universe. And my preference is definitely Miles Morales, John.
See the Batman, you can go and fuck yourself poster.
Yeah.
That's my Bruce Wayne. I'm pointing to Tom Hardy, by the way. I don't know why. Michael Keaton I'm talking about. I like Robert Pattinson, but Michael Keaton's my Bruce Wayne. Get back in the wall and shut up.
But we're going to move on. But before we do, folks, if you've got any comments in terms of a Sony Spider-Man universe, if you'd like to see that or not like to see it, please drop us a comment below. We do read all comments and we do try and respond to all of them as well. So get typing. But we're going to move on to
just not assy, man.
Our next topic of conversation, John. And we're staying on comic book. We're moving over to DC now. Poster.
Boom.
And it's back on the wall you go, and it's all about
back on the road again.
Like Partridge and Danny Martin there.
I've got a sweet tooth.
Joker director praises Deadpool and Wolverine for record-breaking success.
I actually don't know what the record-breaking success is at this moment. I'm going to have to do a little look at the box office.
Well, I'll read this little
Deadpool
paragraph here, John.
Wolverine.
It's all about Todd Phillips, the director of Joker, has expressed admiration for Deadpool and Wolverine surpassing the DC film to become the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Wow.
Since its release, Deadpool and Wolverine has shattered multiple box office records, reigniting enthusiasm for upcoming Marvel films and drawing comparisons to DC's 2019 hit Joker. This success signals a promising future for Marvel and highlights a shift in the competitive landscape of superhero cinema. I can't disagree with him in terms of R-rated films. They're always a harder sell when it comes to comic book because kids can't get in to see them. Oh, they shouldn't get in to see them.
I seen R-rated in 18 movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
Stop mollycoddling.
Yeah, it's the cinema though, isn't it?
That'd be all right.
I don't know. I don't
Put
really
a
know.
moustache on, like Paul McCartney did back in the day. You'll get in.
Yeah, a beard.
You are clearly underage.
Yeah.
You I cannot serve.
But John, it was something that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of both films because it's something that we actually talked about on Sin's Corner, and then we did talk about it the following week on our own channel with Gianni.
Yeah.
In terms of, and I'm going to lump Joker into this as well. Todd Phillips' Joker from 2019. Both of these films, in my opinion, didn't have the best stories. They didn't have the best stories. They were very surface level stories. Both these films for me were all about the tone shift in what we were used to.
Very character driven,
and that's why I'm confident Joker 2. I will enjoy it, but I do have reservations that it's going to just go over old ground again. The first film was good because I'd never seen anything as dark, in live action in comic books.
My hope for Joker 2, without cutting in, Steve.
No, you're not finished. I was just getting my breath back.
Yeah, my hope for Joker 2, from what I've seen from the trailers, is that Joker was all about him being forgotten by society, looking after his mother, just a joke figure, sort of pariah, and then he finds a cause and sort of meaning in life being Joker, and all of a sudden he's accepted by, albeit crackpots and anarchists, but he's accepted. In this movie, I think they'll elaborate further on that with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And finding a sort of soulmate, two kindred psychotic souls come together, and they'll just build it out from that with the music being a backdrop. It's going to be really interesting to see how they incorporate that, because as I keep saying, a lot of the stuff I liked was sort of framed with iconic music. You think of the staircase scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in there musically already in the first movie. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a fucking musical, but I'll be really intrigued to see how they build that out. But I'm not worried about that. I don't think Joaquin would have come back if he didn't have a rhyme or reason. Yeah, this guy doesn't do sequels ever, and he's a serious actor. He's an Academy Award winner. There must be something special in the script for him to be enticed back to play the character. And I don't think Todd Phillips would do it either. I don't think he would tread over old ground. I think there must be something special in this story to justify them doing a sequel. I've got hopes for it. And Lady Gaga's
I was going to say Lady Gaga as well. I don't think she would sign on for something that it was naff or a sort of regurgitation. I know that the first film did get a lot of attention for the wrong reasons in terms of its story being regurgitated from previous films from the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, the king of comedy.
King of comedy, yeah, and Taxi Driver. But for me, I enjoyed it for what it was, but for me, it was something that I'd never seen before in live action in terms of that sort of depth we went with that character. It was very deep, and you couldn't help being sympathetic towards Arthur as well to a point. Obviously, when he shoots that chat show guy in the head, you kind of lose all sort of support for him. But Murray. But I love that picture as well.
Yeah, I'm just looking at there, Steve.
I've been staring at it and I just realised what it is.
Yeah, it's Wade Wilson, yeah. What I love about that, and it's something that we've discussed before, Stephen, it's usually reserved for the top grossing film of all time.
Yeah.
They've done that year after, well, not in bygone years they've done it, not year after year, because you've not got movies passing 3 billion every fucking year, John. You gotta get up with your life, son. If you're saying shit like that, you're just not getting taken serious. You should know better. You cover box office all the time on the website, and you used to cover it all the time in terms of shows and whatnot. You know better than that, son. But that's why I know this, what I'm about to say. They always tip the hat to the one that overtakes it. Jim Cameron's done it numerous times with Kevin Feige and Marvel. With Avatar being overtaken with Avengers, then they returned the favour. He did it before, probably with himself. He's got that many movies in the top 3, top 4, top 5 at the box office all-time listing. But Todd Phillips has done it here because it's the R-rated top grossing movie, and it's now been replaced with Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. He's done a little homage, sort of taking his movie and then showing Wade Wilson coming in. So I like that. I like when they do that. They tip the hat and give respect. It just shows you that there is respect in that industry.
Yeah.
From one filmmaker to another. They appreciate the other people's works. It's not just me, selfish, I, me, mine, as George Harrison famously sung back in the day. They do appreciate someone coming along and doing something in their specific genre that beats their film.
Yeah.
I like that camaraderie. In terms of the numbers, Stephen, I mean, it's easy to forget. Joker did do unbelievable back in the day. I mean, say back in the day, it was like 5 years ago, but that's back in the day. That's half a decade.
Yeah.
Fucking get on, honestly. But nearly 1.1 billion for a Joker film. No one would have believed that was possible prior to that film's release.
I think the sort of narrative prior to 2019 was nobody does a supervillain movie because there's not anything interesting about that. Well, I think they proved that wrong. Certainly, I think the performance of Joaquin Phoenix as well proved it wrong. Obviously, in terms of the director as well, I don't think I've known his work up to that point, Todd Phillips, up to Joker. I'll be honest, I don't really know. But I appreciated what he did. Obviously, it was taking elements from very famous films.
Yeah, Road Trip. Back in the day, Hangover.
Road Trip, that's
totally
a blast
different,
from the
isn't
past,
it?
Yeah,
they were ones,
well,
that I had seen, but they're not indicative of him releasing a
movies,
Joker.
Yeah.
It's not even remotely in the same wheelhouse as a Joker film. We've got a comment from A at Shaky Ma. Hey guys, do react to the GOAT trailer from Telepathy VJ. I know it's out of context here, but just want to let you know, and I'll appreciate that because we did react to I think it was
teaser,
the title
one,
announcement. So
yeah, we'll do that probably after this. Actually,
yeah, we do love Telepathy. I think it's his last film.
Yeah, for a while
before he goes to politics, isn't it? So yeah.
Time he comes back, he'll be Regina Kind. Yeah,
without the wig, he doesn't need the wig. But no, I mean, it's just incredible. It shows you, Stephen, that R-rated, that you can make an R-rated movie, and if it's very well put together and it's got great word of mouth, it can make over $1 billion. It's not about making constant multi-demographic PG-13 movies that a 90-year-old can go and see and a 2-year-old can go and see. That's not the be-all and end-all of cinema, and it's not the only way to make money. There's enough adults out there that enjoy cinema for you to go and make $1 billion or big money on an R-rated film. So I like the fact that these movies have had success. It just shows companies like Disney and Warner Brothers and whatnot, it can be done.
I also like the fact that we've had a DC director complimenting Marvel side of things as well, which probably about, as you said, 5 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. DC were too busy tearing shreds, misplaced tearing shreds at MCU at that point. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to Joker too. Don't know when it's out. Is it?
It's coming up, isn't it?
October? Can't remember.
It is, it's coming up. Joker.
I think it's. Yeah, can't remember. We talked
comes
about
out
this.
on the what? It's coming out. Release date. That'll maybe help you, John.
Yeah, can't remember. October. Yeah, beginning of October. It's going to run right into Halloween, isn't it? So get that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's cut out for it to try and top the first movie ultimately, because that was I really enjoyed Joker.
I enjoyed it.
I know it's easy to shit on top of the movie now and say it was just a Martin Scorsese remake and all the film snobs love to shit on it. Why is it getting all these Oscar nominations? Because it's a well put together film.
I don't think it was it was the best written film, but it was an interesting character study. That's the way I look at it.
And that's what it was all about, Stephen, and that's why ultimately you were bang on when you said that Deadpool and Wolverine and Joker have got that similarity in terms of a relatively weak story, but it's character driven and it goes into the souls of a character. Maybe Deadpool and Wolverine to a less extent, but it kind of does, because you're going into the soul of Wade Wilson and Logan and why they're outsiders and they never feel part of a team. And ultimately they come together and become a team, and it shows development in the two characters. So you're kind of looking inward at the characters. It's more about the characters, less about villains and story being unbelievably strong. And it worked, because you can have a really character driven film and it works. I think Joker's a better film than Deadpool and Wolverine.
I do as well.
A different kind of film, but I think it's better and it had more of an impact, I think, on society.
But what's your thoughts, folks? What did you prefer? Did you prefer Joker or did you prefer Deadpool and Wolverine? Or do you like them both equally? Share your comments below in the comment section. We really appreciate it. We might even reply to it. We will reply to it. We reply to everything. Even if it's just a thumbs up or a love heart, we will reply. We read everything. We're going to move on to our next topic, John. It's going to be very short and sweet, but I thought not talk box office in a little while, and I know that's right down your street. And this one is quite noteworthy to talk about as well in terms of how it's positioned and what film it's just knocked off the top spot. It's Alien Romulus. It dominates North American box office with $41.5 million as of August 18th, which was yesterday. As we record, Alien Romulus has claimed the top spot at the North American box office with $41.5 million. Deadpool and Wolverine follows in second place with $29 million, while it ends with us secures third with $24 million. The rest of the top five includes Twisters at fourth with $9.8 million, and Coraline at fifth with $8.4 million. And other notable entries include Despicable Me 4 and Inside Out 2.
I'm just searching up about this film because
does
it
it surprise
me.
Yeah, I was going to say, John, does it surprise you? Yeah.
Not really, because I think there's enough of a following for Alien, and it did look good in the theatres, the trailer. And I think people going and seeing a Deadpool and Wolverine watching that trailer might have been intrigued enough to go and watch the film.
Yeah.
It did look interesting, but I get a lot of vibes of the original. I felt like it was rehashing a lot of stuff from the original movie, to the point where I've just searched up, is Alien Romulus a reboot? And they're saying it's an interquel.
I don't know what that is.
Because it's both a sequel to the original film and a prequel to Cameron's follow-up, so it's kind of set between Aliens and Alien.
That's interesting, yeah.
I don't understand.
Maybe two timelines.
Yeah, two timelines, yeah. But it did look decent. It's made good money, man. Over $100 million already worldwide. I think opening weekend, you just said there. The old 14th, yeah. I mean, that's pretty fucking good.
That's really good, yeah.
It's pretty good money.
I think the running time's got a lot to do with it as well, John. Just under 2 hours.
Short, sweet, yeah.
It's
just like Deadpool.
And it is horror sci-fi. We talk about
and
that.
It's
quite
R-rated
a lot,
again.
Yeah. We talk about horror genre, though. We talk about that's your sort of sweet spot is under 2 hours. And I think they've just hit the nail on the head with this. But you're right. I remember watching this in the theatre thinking, this looks pretty fucking good, actually.
Yeah.
I do like the look of it. I'm not the biggest Alien fan.
I love the first two.
I like the second one.
The second one was brilliant.
Just that was Cameron, wasn't it? That did the second one.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott did the first one.
Yeah.
I liked that one.
That was more action, wasn't it? Whereas
I think I
kind of
just fell away from it when it was the Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder one, the fourth one, I think it was, Resurrection or something, can't remember. I just fell away from it after that. And I know there's been some prequels after that.
It's nice to see they're getting back to horror. It looks as though it is going to be a horror.
With Predator.
Oh, God, I know.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
It does look like they're going back to basics, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more horrific, as I like to say, and stepping away from the more action-heavy stuff. I mean, I'm trying to look at some of the cast. I don't know a huge amount of them. That kind of something I noticed watching the trailer. I didn't know a huge amount of the actors. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to step away and sort of refresh and not have
John, they did
big
it with,
names in
talking
there.
about Predator, they did it with Prey, you know?
Yeah.
They did it, obviously,
I love
the
Prey,
cast.
man.
It's a
Prey
great
was
film, yeah.
brilliant. That's an example of putting a fresh take on maybe an overworn franchise, setting it in the past, sort of Native American. That was unbelievable. I really enjoyed that film. A hell of a lot.
Fresh, as you said,
But this does look good, man. And again, just tacked on to what we were speaking about there. It once again proves that you can make an R-rated film. It's not multi-demographic, and it can make money. And just great seeing movies getting into theatres post-pandemic, when there was a lot of talk 2-3 years ago about the industry being finished, exhibitors' theatres being finished. Nobody wanted to go to a cinema anymore and watch a film. It was dead in the water. It was done. You wouldn't get billion-dollar movies anymore. It was all finished. The MCU was dying in its arse. Now we've got a sort of spike again, and people are going back to the theatres, and they're making big money. Not just this promising opening weekend, but Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously Inside Out 2, over $1 billion. So they're making big money.
Yeah.
So it's good to see, because like a loaf, Disney and companies like that, they're pouring a huge amount of money to make these movies, and they have to make the money back.
I think in terms of this film as well, I think that they've been very clever, and obviously it's release date as well. They knew that Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be the biggest film of the year, and they've kind of timed it nicely as well in terms of its run, because that must be a very hard thing to sort of predict in terms of projection, in terms of box office week on week. With a film like Deadpool and Wolverine, when does it start to fizzle out? Because obviously they've committed to a release date on this. It's not like they've waited, right, their numbers are going down slightly now, let's release it.
I don't think they would have thought Deadpool and Wolverine would have been number one at this point. I think they'd have probably have thought a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks.
Then do you think?
When did Deadpool came out? When?
think it
About
was
a month and a bit ago?
4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it would have thought maybe 2.5, 3 weeks, and it would have started tapering off quite a bit. I don't think anyone envisaged Deadpool and Wolverine doing over $1 billion.
No.
Having the run it had, I think they thought it would do very well. But I mean, it was the only Marvel movie released this year, so it's obviously going to be successful. It's Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, but I don't think anyone's seen it being that explosive. I mean, it's broke so many records in terms of opening weekends and runs, and now it's the top R-rated movie.
Yeah, I mean, the promotion and the run-up to its release as well was phenomenal. And you only see that for sort of big blockbuster films. Certainly for this one, I don't remember us reacting to any of the trailers in this. I don't think there was many trailers.
Very small budget.
Yeah.
$80 million budget.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we used to say back in the day, you'd basically double it effectively for promotion.
Yeah.
Also, the theatres get their cut. So you're looking at maybe it'd have to make about, I don't know, 180, 190, 200 million to make a profit. It's well on its way to doing that.
Yeah.
So that's good to see.
Yeah,
I may have to go and watch this film.
Yeah, I think in cinema as well, John.
Because it's been a long time since I've seen an Alien movie. I don't actually know what the feedback is in terms of, I mean, it's doing really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
It's really
Pretty highly rated. And the audience are loving it as well. So yeah.
That's fantastic, yeah. It's good to see.
Returning to the roots, obviously, of what made the originals great. Well, the original great.
Yeah.
Aliens, as I said, was very...
I have to make a point of going to see this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It does look good. But we're going to move on. Before we do, folks, if any of you have saw Alien Romulus, let us know if you saw it over the weekend. Let us know in the comments section. Let us know your thoughts. Are you going to go and see it? Let us know that as well. We will respond. We will reply. And we will like your comments, or we'll dislike your comments depending on what you say, but we're going to move on.
We even like and love the negative comments because we kill people with kindness. It's the best way. And it's not just us. I've seen other people saying they do that. Landon Bailey, a guy I watch Guitar Channel, does it.
Yeah.
People post really nasty things. You're a crap at the guitar and they just love hearts it. It's like, I don't care. You watch my content.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't allow me to go and buy more guitars and amps, so I win. He's great. He's a Canadian, by the way.
We're going to move on anyway to our final topic, John. It's all about the Indian Film Festival of Melbourne 2024. And
hope it has one big, by the way, because I've just literally went two-footed.
Major wins for Charan, Kartik, Aaryan and more. At the 15th Indian Film Festival of Melbourne, Kartik Aaryan took home Best Actor honours, with Charan and A.R. Rahman also enjoyed significant victories. The Best Director awards went to Kabir Khan and Nithyan Swaminathan, marking a night of major achievements for Indian cinema. This is something that we have tried to incorporate into our entertainment news, John. And it's very hard at times, obviously, to keep track of every film festival going, but this one, Melbourne, massive city, obviously in Australia, and obviously one of our movie burners is based there in Anamia, and I'm sure we'll have a wee chat with that when we catch up with her at the end of the week. But it mentions obviously the 12th Fail, John, which is a film that perhaps if you were here at the time you'd have saw us doing a watch along. Unfortunately, it was pulled. We got a strike, hence why we've not done any more watch alongs. But such an emotional film and a fantastic. I'm blanking on the lead actor's name again.
He's popping up a lot. We were just talking about him. He played Babu.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking his name? I'll tell you just
Massey.
now. Vikrant Massey. Vikrant, yeah.
Yeah, Vikrant Massey, yeah. A phenomenal film. And you expect a film like that to be in and amongst these film festivals and award ceremonies as well, John.
Steve, I'll go as far as to say if India, the Indian sort of Film Institute or whoever it is that oversees the nomination process for the Oscars, if they don't put that film forward for Best Foreign Language and just for nominations in general at the Oscars coming up, it's an absolute crime against humanity. It's genuinely one of the best movies I've seen in a long, long time. It's just a phenomenal movie. But the indefatigability of human spirit, desire to become something, change your ways, to go from being a cheater and just following the sheep, if you like, in this small town and just become like an office guy.
It's a
being an office guy.
Yeah.
But to go from that to being really inspired and then go off and pursue something and then want to actually change what's going on in small towns like yours, that is an incredible story. Incredible human story, and just the acting, everything on a technical level. It's a stunning movie, so they should be putting that movie forward for
Maharaja
Oscar buzz.
John gets mentioned in this as well.
Yeah, we reacted to that, didn't we?
We reacted to it, and Animia did review it as well. This is the Vijay Sethupathi film, isn't it?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
It's one I definitely want to see. I think it's on Netflix actually over here, so it's certainly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's too early to do a watch along for it or not, but certainly when it comes to Vijay Sethupathi, I want to see all this guy's back catalogue. Yeah. We've seen quite a lot of his films when you think about it, but he's stunning. He's one of my favourite actors from the subcontinent. He's just brilliant, and regardless of what people say, I think he plays a litany of different kind of characters. He's not the same person every time he goes in front of a camera. I don't know what crack they've been on. There's Kieran Ryle's Lapata Ladies, which John, you said that was one of your favourite films of the year, wasn't it?
It was an incredible film again. Just a really different kind of film to like 12 Fail. It was just a really, really enjoyable. And I thought, despite the fact it was quite depressing at the start, the fact that they were getting ripped away, and the case of that other girl who got swapped, forced to marry a scumbag. Yeah. The fact it started like that, and it was still quite a high-spirited and fun film. It just seeing them going off and becoming ultimately who they wanted to be and changing their lives. It shows you that when things happen in life that you think are maybe terrible, and it's maybe been I don't know what you'd call it, a trough in your life, if you like, it can ultimately be a positive thing, and it can shape you to be a better person. You see that with the younger of the two. She's stuck at this train station with these two vagabonds who are brilliant in the film. She meets that woman, obviously the street food vendor. Yeah. Blanking in the names now. I've not seen it in a while.
Been a while, yeah.
And it changes her life. She becomes inspired. She wants to go out and work. She doesn't just want to be a housewife, if you like. And you see the impact. Choices, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You see the impact the other lady makes in the house. She's got the other woman talking. She's obviously questioning why they've never had friendships, despite the fact they live together and whatnot, and they're in close contact. They're that devoted to what they're doing.
That film was recommended by Animia, as I recall, just prior to her joining us on the channel, and it's one of those ones I always appreciate from obviously Animia at that time, but the community as a whole, when they point us in the right direction for a good film. 12 Fail was one of them. I'm pretty sure we would never have went near that film. We know obviously Vikrant Massey, obviously from Mirzapur, and we've seen him in a couple of other things, very small roles, but.
Made in Heaven, wasn't he? Was he?
Yes, he was in Made in Heaven, but, I mean, we rely on the community quite a bit when it comes to these. Obviously, in the comment section, we know that obviously Telepathy VJ's got a film out as well, a trailer out, so we will get that. We'll get that in the can.
Yeah, Charan as well, man. Love that guy. You talk about charisma. Yeah. That guy, you could bottle the charisma up that he's got. He's just a stunning actor. Just you're drawn to him when he's on the screen. Yeah. And that's a rare commodity, even amongst actors who are quite charismatic. Some just take it to another level, and that guy, him and probably NTR Jr., who were on the screen together in Triple R, they were what made that movie so enjoyable a watch for me. It wasn't just the music and Rajamouli's brilliant filmmaking and stunning CG and whatnot. It was those two guys. Yeah, to the point where you've got a great actor like the late great, I'm blanking on his name again. I always blank his fucking name. Passed away.
The one that was in Star Wars?
Yeah. Ray something else.
Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson, yeah. Like a chump compared to those two. Yeah. And he's a brilliant actor. Or was a brilliant actor. He just like
underdeveloped character, wasn't it? Yeah. It wasn't the actor's fault,
And that's how charismatic those two are. They made him look like an ordinary man, and he's anything but, or was anything but an ordinary man.
I loved that film. Loved Triple R.
So it's good to see he's continuing to get buzz. I've not been keeping up with Charan in recent times, so it's good to see he's still cracking on and doing the grind and producing hopefully fantastic films for an adoring audience. Yeah. See the way that really winds me up. But now it's just cuts immediately. Look at this. Terrible. OBS is shit. It's a pain in the arse, man. It's brilliant, but it's also shit. Does my head in. But are we done?
I think we're done and dusted, yeah.
What's your thoughts on the topic? Stephen's kind of already threw kicked the ball into your end of the pitch. Terrible analogy. He's already batted a backhand into your side of the court to ask you what your thoughts are, and the dad's just going to continue doing terrible analogies. He's already chipped the ball onto the green and it's your turn. It's a foursome. It's your turn to put it into the hole, you know.
On hips.
It's all on the hits. It's all on the hips. You're absolutely right. Jubs.
Peterson, yeah.
Yes. Late great Carol Weathers. Carol. But I'm going to ask you anyway, what's your thoughts on the topics that we've touched upon on the show? Should Sony do a soft reboot? Should they just incorporate Spider-Man into their villainous Spider-Verse? It wouldn't be much of a Spider-Verse if you've not got a fucking Spider-Man. Should they do it? Who should come in? Should it be Miles Morales? Should it be Gwen Stacy, not Gwen Stefani, as I used to call her back in the day? Different Gwen John. Should it be Peter Parker, Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield? What's your thoughts? Share your thoughts down below on that. Thoughts on Joker being passed by Deadpool and Wolverine at the box office? Is that indicative of the power of a really good R-rated movie, proving to these studios and studio heads that you can make brilliant, high-grossing movies if they're not multi-demographic? Share your thoughts down below about the performance of Deadpool and Wolverine, about Joker 2, Folly I Do, whatever the fuck it's called. Thoughts on Aaryan Romulus knocking Deadpool and Wolverine off the sort of top pedestal at the box office in the United States of America. It might not have done it here, but it's all about America, baby. What's your thoughts on the Indian Film Festival of Melbourne and all of the winners there? Share your thoughts down below about that and a whole array of other things that maybe scratch the itch in terms of what you want to put in the comments section. That's the place to put it. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyes for more content like this in the future. I'm furiously trying to find the end screen thing on OBS to make sure this all goes smoothly. Just keep filibustering and talking to make it a smooth process. Look like I'm a professional when I'm anything but. Do the same thing over on Twitch. Follow notifications button over there to see us doing the exact same content, a completely different platform, but that's, you may prefer Twitch. And all that's left to be said is until the next time, thank you once again for watching this, and bye bye.